In a remote cave deep in the highlands of Ethiopia, an ancient treasure has been uncovered, one that could change everything we know about the Bible and the signs of Judgment Day. Archaeologists have discovered a version of the Bible more than 1,500 years old. But what truly shocked the world wasn't just its age, it was the extraordinary revelations hidden within its pages. This isn't just any old text. This is the Ethiopian Bible, a version long forgotten by much of the world. And it contains details that modern versions of the Bible either omit or have never known. This Bible, known to many as the G Bible, holds not only the familiar stories of faith, but also ancient knowledge and prophecies that could be the key to understanding what's to come. What if I told you that the signs of Judgment Day, the mysterious and foreboding events that have baffled humanity for centuries, are all hidden right here, in these ancient texts? Unlike the versions most of us are familiar with, the Ethiopian Bible contains 81 books, 15 more than the traditional Protestant Bible. This is a treasure trove of divine wisdom, much of which has been excluded from mainstream Christianity. Among these texts are the Book of Enoch and the Book of Jubilees, two sacred writings that provide detailed insights into the end of days, the very phenomenon so many have pondered and feared. These books paint a startling picture of our future and offer answers to questions that have puzzled humanity for millennia. In fact, it's in the Book of Enoch where we find one of the most chilling prophecies, the return of the Lord with 10,000 of his holy ones to execute judgment. But what's truly mind-blowing are the details that follow, details that only appear in the Ethiopian version. Why, you might wonder, have these crucial prophecies been hidden from the world for so long? More importantly, what if these signs are beginning to manifest in our own time, right before our eyes? The Ethiopian Bible provides a lens through which we can view the mysterious signs of Judgment Day. And as we dive deeper into these prophecies, you'll realize that the age-old questions about the end of the world are not just religious myths. They are detailed predictions that are beginning to come true in our era. It's almost as if this ancient Bible was waiting for the right moment to reveal its truth. And perhaps, just perhaps, that moment is now. In the Book of Enoch, we find references to celestial phenomena, specifically the disruption of the stars and the moon, which could very well explain the strange astronomical occurrences we are witnessing today. Modern scientists have recorded unusual changes in the orbits of celestial bodies, a development that seems to echo the ancient prophecies found in the Ethiopian Bible. But that's just the beginning. The Book of Jubilees, another crucial text in the Ethiopian Bible, offers an entirely different revelation, a prophecy about a calendar system divided into 7-year cycles. According to this calendar, we are living in the final cycle of a great epoch, signaling that the end of an era is near. Could the ancient Ethiopians have known about our time? Could they have predicted our current technological and environmental upheavals? This is not just ancient religious folklore. This is ancient knowledge that could change how we view the world today. The 3 signs of Judgment Day outlined in the Ethiopian Bible are interconnected in ways that modern science can barely comprehend. We will explore these signs in the next video and delve into the phenomena that seem to be unfolding right now in our world, many of which were foreseen thousands of years ago in these sacred texts. Could the unfolding events in nature and society be more than mere coincidence? What if we are living through the very signs of the end times as described by ancient prophets? The world is changing rapidly, with societal upheavals, natural disasters, and even technological advancements that seem to mirror these ancient prophecies. Could the Ethiopian Bible be the key to unlocking the mysteries of Judgment Day? If these prophecies were written more than 2,500 years ago, and if some of them are already coming true, then what else is waiting to unfold? What other hidden truths have been preserved in this ancient scripture, waiting for the right time to be revealed? As we begin this exploration, we'll uncover some of the most astonishing predictions that have been kept secret for centuries, hidden in plain sight within the Ethiopian Bible. Stay tuned, because the revelations you are about to discover may very well reshape everything you thought you knew about the world, the Bible, and the future of humanity. The Ethiopian Bible is a unique treasure, one that carries with it not only the wisdom and teachings of the ancient world, but also the depth of faith that has been preserved by the Ethiopian Orthodox Church for centuries. As we dive into its pages, we uncover a story that is rich, complex, and full of profound truths that can speak to the heart of every believer, regardless of where they come from. Unlike the traditional Bible that many are familiar with, which contains 66 books, the Ethiopian Bible is different. It includes 81 books, an extra 15 that are often overlooked in many Christian traditions. These additional books contain deep insights into the nature of God, His plans for the world, and the very fabric of human history. One such book, the Book of Enoch, is an ancient text that dates back to the 3rd century before Christ. In this book, we encounter vivid prophecies about the end of the world, about the judgment that will come upon the earth, and about the ultimate victory of God's righteousness over the forces of evil. These are not mere poetic reflections. They are prophecies that have a clear and striking resemblance to many of the visions found in the New Testament, especially in the Book of Revelation. As we read the Book of Enoch, we are drawn into a vision of the future that is both awe-inspiring and terrifying. It speaks of a day when the heavens and the earth will be shaken, when the righteous will be rewarded, and when the wicked will face their final judgment. It tells us of the Nephilim, the fallen angels, and the secrets of heaven that were revealed to Enoch, the great prophet. The Book of Enoch presents us with an understanding of the divine that goes far beyond the surface level. It shows us that God's plan for the world is not just about the here and now. It is about a cosmic struggle between good and evil that has been unfolding since the dawn of creation and will continue until the very end of time. Through this book, we are invited to contemplate the mysteries of the universe, to consider the fallen nature of humanity, and to reflect on the ultimate triumph of God's justice. In addition to the Book of Enoch, the Ethiopian Bible also includes the Book of Jubilees. This is another fascinating text that provides a unique perspective on time and history. While the Book of Enoch gives us visions of the end times, the Book of Jubilees offers us a framework for understanding the entirety of human history. It presents a 7-year cycle, a divinely ordained structure through which God's plan unfolds in the world. According to the Book of Jubilees, we are living in the final cycle of a grand age, one that will come to an end with the final judgment. The book teaches that time is not a linear progression, as many of us are used to thinking about it, but a cyclical process, with each cycle representing a new chapter in God's story. This cyclical view of time challenges our modern understanding of history, which often sees the past as something that is dead and gone, something that no longer has any relevance to our present or future. The Book of Jubilees invites us to reconsider this view and to recognize that history is a living, breathing entity, one that is shaped by God's hand at every turn. As we read through this book, we are reminded that we are part of a much larger story than we may realize, and that our lives are intricately woven into the divine tapestry that God has been creating since the beginning of time. This cyclical view of history also reminds us that we are not living in isolation. We are connected to the past, to the generations that have gone before us, and to the generations that will come after us. The Book of Jubilees speaks of the Jubilees, a period of 49 years, after which all debts are forgiven and all things are made new. This concept of a divine reset, of starting fresh after a period of time, has deep spiritual significance. It tells us that God is not simply concerned with the past or the future. He is deeply involved in the present, and he offers us the opportunity for renewal at every moment. For those who believe, this renewal is not just about the physical world, but also about the soul, the spirit, and the relationship between God and humanity. The inclusion of these books in the Ethiopian Bible is a testament to the unique faith and spiritual heritage of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. For centuries, the Church has held fast to these ancient texts, preserving them even when other Christian traditions chose to discard or ignore them. The Ethiopian Bible, with its 81 books, is not just a collection of ancient writings. It is a living tradition that has been passed down from generation to generation. It is a treasure that has been carefully guarded and preserved by the Ethiopian people, and it continues to shape their faith and understanding of God today. As we look at the Ethiopian Bible, we are reminded that the Bible is not a static document. It is not something that has been fixed in time, but rather it is a dynamic and living text, one that speaks to each generation in its own unique way. The additional books in the Ethiopian Bible offer us a glimpse into the richness and diversity of the Christian tradition. They show us that the fullness of God's Word cannot be contained in any single version of the Bible, and that there is always more to discover, more to understand, and more to learn. The Ethiopian Bible is a reminder that we must approach Scripture with humility and reverence, recognizing that there is much more to God's plan than we may initially realize. As we read the texts of the Ethiopian Bible, we are called to engage deeply with the stories and prophecies that are contained within its pages. We are invited to consider the ways in which God has worked throughout history and to reflect on how His plan is unfolding in our own lives. The Ethiopian Bible also challenges us to think about time, history, and the future in a new way. The 7-year cycle of the Book of Jubilees, for example, calls us to see history as something that is not merely linear, but cyclical, with each cycle bringing us closer to the fulfillment of God's promises. The prophecies of the Book of Enoch remind us that the world is not as it seems, and that there is a greater reality beyond what we can see with our physical eyes. These texts challenge us to think beyond the here and now, to recognize that our lives are part of a larger story that is being written by God Himself. As we reflect on the teachings of the Ethiopian Bible, we are reminded that the journey of faith is not always easy. There are moments of uncertainty, moments of doubt, and moments when we wonder if God is truly present in our lives. But the Ethiopian Bible, with its rich history and profound teachings, reminds us that God is always with us, guiding us, and leading us toward the fulfillment of His promises. Just as the Ethiopian Orthodox Church has preserved these ancient texts for centuries, so too are we called to preserve the truths that they contain. We are called to hold fast to the faith, to continue seeking God in all that we do, and to trust that He will lead us to the ultimate fulfillment of His plan. In a world that is constantly changing, the Ethiopian Bible offers us a steady anchor, a source of wisdom and strength that has stood the test of time. It is a reminder that we are not alone in our journey of faith, and that we have a rich heritage of believers who have walked this path before us. As we continue to explore the pages of the Ethiopian Bible, let us do so with a spirit of reverence and awe. Let us recognize that these ancient texts are not just stories or historical documents, but living words that continue to speak to us today. And as we allow these words to shape our understanding of God, His world, and our place in it, let us be open to the lessons they offer, and let us allow them to guide us on our own journey of faith. In the ancient texts, the prophets spoke of a time far beyond the scope of their own understanding, when the world would undergo a transformation so profound it would shake the very foundation of reality itself. These prophecies, scattered across various religious traditions, seem to converge upon one point: the end of days, the final moments before humanity either ascends to a new level of existence or plunges into its own destruction. Among these texts, one stands out, hidden within the Ethiopian Bible, a book that has long captivated those who seek deeper spiritual truths. It is the Book of Enoch that provides us with a glimpse into this future, a future where the natural world, the human mind, and the very fabric of our spiritual existence will be tested. This ancient scripture speaks of 3 signs that will herald the end times, each one representing a shift in the cosmic order and the moral direction of humanity. These signs are not just predictions of physical calamities, but also warnings of the deeper spiritual challenges we will face as a species. They speak of a cosmic shift, a moral crossroads, and a choice that will define the future of mankind. The first sign is one that echoes through the ages, a great upheaval in the natural world. The Book of Enoch describes a time when the heavens themselves will be disturbed, when the stars will no longer follow their fixed course, and the moon will show signs of irregularity. These celestial bodies, which have always been regarded as symbols of stability and time, will no longer serve as reliable markers for humanity. Enoch paints a picture of the heavens losing their order and the stars falling from their places, which to the people of his time would have seemed like an unimaginable catastrophe. Today, as we look to the skies, we find that modern science has observed unusual phenomena, anomalies in the behavior of stars, fluctuations in the orbits of planets, and even irregularities in the moon's cycle. While these might seem like mere coincidences to the average observer, there are those who believe that they are not. These celestial disturbances, while not apocalyptic on their own, could be interpreted as part of the grand design foretold in the scriptures. The moon's cycles, for instance, have shown signs of irregularity over recent years. Scientists have documented slight shifts in its orbit and unusual variations in its phases. This is not something to be ignored, for in the eyes of those who study the ancient texts, these signs speak of something much greater than a simple astronomical occurrence. They could be the early warnings that the end times are drawing near. This disruption in the natural order is not just a physical phenomenon, it is also a spiritual metaphor. The heavens, in many religious traditions, represent the divine order, the higher truths that guide humanity. When the stars and the moon fall out of alignment, it is as if the divine order itself is being questioned, and the very foundation of reality is being shaken. This is the first warning, a call for humanity to pay attention to the signs around them, to recognize that something is amiss in the universe. The second sign speaks of a profound change in the minds and hearts of men and women. Enoch describes a time when humanity will live in 2 worlds at once, the physical world, the one we can see and touch, and a virtual world, a world of illusions and artificial constructs. This prophecy, written thousands of years ago, seems strangely prescient in the age of digital technology. Today, we live in a world where the line between the real and the artificial is becoming increasingly blurred. We communicate with people across the globe. We immerse ourselves in virtual environments, and we interact with machines that seem almost alive. The virtual world is no longer a distant dream, but a part of our everyday existence. This dual existence is changing the way we live, the way we think, and the way we relate to one another. Enoch's warning is clear. As technology advances, it will create a fracture in human consciousness, a division between those who are rooted in the physical world and those who become consumed by the virtual one. This shift will have profound consequences for the spiritual and mental well-being of humanity. In the past, humans were primarily focused on survival, on the material needs of the body. Today, however, many of us are just as concerned with our digital identities, with the virtual personas we create and cultivate. We spend hours every day in a world that exists only in the form of data, disconnected from the tangible reality that once defined us. This virtual existence can be intoxicating, offering us the ability to be anyone we want to be, to live in any world we choose. But it also comes with a price. As we become more immersed in these artificial worlds, we risk losing touch with the deeper truths that anchor us to the physical world, and more importantly, to our spiritual selves. This dual existence is not just a technological development, it is a spiritual challenge. Enoch's prophecy is a warning that humanity is on the brink of losing its way, of becoming so enmeshed in the virtual world that we forget the true nature of our existence. It is a call to return to the essence of life, to reconnect with the divine order that governs the universe, and to not allow ourselves to be consumed by the distractions of the digital age. The third and most profound sign is the Great Convergence, the moment when all these signs come together, when the natural world, the virtual world, and the spiritual world collide. It is in this moment that humanity will face a choice that will determine the future of our species. Enoch speaks of a time when humanity will have to choose between two paths: the path of ascension, where we rise to a higher level of consciousness and understanding, or the path of destruction, where we allow ourselves to be consumed by the forces of chaos and darkness. This is the great crossroads of human history, the moment when the collective will of humanity will decide its fate. It is here that the ultimate test will take place. The choice will not be easy. The forces of destruction will be powerful, and the temptation to follow the easy path will be great. The world will offer us countless distractions, countless false promises of happiness and fulfillment. The virtual world will continue to lure us with its promises of instant gratification and endless pleasure. But the prophets warn that these things are empty, that they will lead only to despair and destruction. The true path, the path of ascension, is not easy. It requires us to turn away from the material world, to seek higher truths, and to align ourselves with the divine will. It is a path of spiritual discipline, of sacrifice, and of love. This is the path that will lead to enlightenment, to a new understanding of reality, and to a world of peace and harmony. But it is not the path that most will choose. The forces of darkness will be strong, and many will be seduced by the allure of the physical world. But those who choose the path of ascension will find themselves in a new world, a world where the divine order is restored, where peace reigns, and where the spiritual potential of humanity is fully realized. The Great Convergence is not just a cosmic event. It is a personal choice that each of us must make. It is a decision that will shape the future of our souls and the future of humanity itself. As we look to the signs, we must ask ourselves, which path will we choose? Will we rise to the challenge and seek the higher truths, or will we succumb to the temptations of the world and lose ourselves in the chaos? This choice, the greatest choice of our lives, is before us. The signs are clear, and the time is now. In the quiet stillness of the world, there are signs scattered across our lives. Some are faint, barely noticeable, while others strike us with such force that we cannot ignore them. But what if these signs, though seemingly separate, are not random at all? What if they are part of a grander design, intricately woven together in a way we cannot yet understand? In the rush of everyday life, we may not always see them, but the truth remains. There is a deep connection between the signs that appear in our lives, and they are guiding us towards something far greater than ourselves. It's as if the world, in all its chaotic beauty, is calling us to pay attention, to look deeper into the mysteries that lie beneath the surface. These signs, whether in the natural world or within our own hearts, are not accidents. They are reflections of something more profound, something eternal. The physical world is constantly shifting and changing. The seasons come and go, storms roll in, the sun sets and rises again, and with each change, something inside us stirs, whether we realize it or not. These external changes in nature often echo what is taking place within our hearts and minds. When a storm approaches, it might not just be a simple weather pattern. It could symbolize the emotional or spiritual storms we are facing in our lives. When the skies clear, when the sun shines brightly, it may be a sign of inner peace, of clarity, or of moments when we are aligned with something greater. We are not separate from nature. We are inextricably connected to it. And the changes we witness in the world around us are tied to the changes happening deep inside us. The transformation in the physical world is often mirrored in our spiritual lives, and as we witness the shifts in nature, we are being invited to reflect on the changes within our own hearts. Every leaf that falls, every gust of wind that blows, every thunderclap in the sky is a call for us to pay attention. It is a sign that something is shifting, not just in the world around us, but within us as well. Life does not unfold in isolated moments. No, there is a divine order, a purpose behind every event, every moment that seems insignificant. When we take a step back and look at the larger picture, we begin to understand that the signs we encounter are connected. They are part of a larger tapestry being woven, each one serving as a thread leading us toward the same ultimate truth. The storms in our lives, the struggles we face, and the moments of triumph, joy, and peace are all interconnected. They are leading us toward a greater awakening. As we witness the changes in the world around us, we are called to examine the changes taking place in our own hearts. Just as nature undergoes its cycles, spring, summer, fall, and winter, so too does our inner world experience seasons. Sometimes we go through periods of growth and renewal, like the vibrant springtime, when everything feels fresh and full of potential. At other times, we may feel as though we are in the deep, cold winter of our souls, where nothing seems to grow, and the future feels uncertain. Yet even in these seasons of barrenness, there is purpose. Even in the winter, there is the promise of new life that will emerge when the time is right. The convergence of the signs, the changes in nature, and the changes within ourselves speaks to a deeper truth. It reminds us that we are all part of a much larger narrative, one that has been unfolding since the very beginning of time. Each of us has a role to play in this grand story. We are not just passive observers, we are active participants in a journey toward awakening. The Great Convergence, which is often spoken of in spiritual texts and stories, is not just about the alignment of physical events or the merging of time and space. It is the moment when the spiritual, emotional, and physical realms come together, when our hearts, minds, and souls align with a higher purpose. This convergence is a reminder that we are all moving toward a divine end, a moment of awakening, of clarity, of understanding. But how do we prepare for this convergence? How do we recognize the signs and align ourselves with the unfolding plan? The key lies in our ability to open our hearts and minds, to embrace the changes taking place both around us and within us. It requires a willingness to be still, to listen to the quiet whispers of the world and of our inner selves. It demands a surrender of the need for control and an acceptance that the signs we encounter are not random, but part of a divine orchestration. When we begin to see the world this way, through the lens of interconnectedness, through the understanding that every event, every shift in the physical world has meaning, we can begin to understand the purpose behind the signs. We realize that we are not just floating through life by chance. We are being guided step by step toward a greater understanding of our true nature. Each sign is a gentle nudge, a call to move forward on our spiritual journey. The convergence of signs is not a one-time event. It is a continuous unfolding. As we experience the changes in the world, we are also being transformed. The journey is not just about reaching a destination, it is about the process of becoming. The storms we face, the challenges we encounter, the quiet moments of reflection, all shape us into the people we are meant to be. In the same way that nature evolves, so too do we evolve spiritually. It is a journey of becoming more aware, more attuned to the signs, more aligned with the divine plan. These signs, though they may seem insignificant at first, are leading us towards something greater. They are like breadcrumbs on a path, guiding us through the wilderness of life toward the truth that lies hidden just beyond our sight. And just as the physical world undergoes seasons, so too does our spiritual life. There are moments of growth, of struggle, of peace, of turmoil. Each of these moments is a sign, a part of the larger convergence taking place. When we embrace these signs, when we allow ourselves to be led by them, we become part of the grand story. We are no longer passive bystanders, watching as life unfolds before us. Instead, we become active participants in the divine plan, helping to shape the world through our thoughts, our actions, and our intentions. The signs we encounter are not just for us to see, but for us to act upon. They are not meant to be ignored or dismissed as coincidences. They are calls to awaken, to grow, and to transform. Every change in the world around us is an invitation to examine the changes within ourselves. Every moment of peace is a reminder to be still and listen, to open our hearts to the divine wisdom that is always present. The great convergence is not something that will happen in the distant future. It is happening now, in the present moment. It is unfolding within us, through us, and all around us. We are already on the path, already moving toward a greater understanding of our purpose. The signs are there, waiting for us to see them, to hear them, to recognize the divine order at work. And when we do, when we align ourselves with the unfolding story, we will find that we are exactly where we need to be, moving toward the ultimate convergence, the awakening of our true selves. The world around us, with all its changes, is a mirror reflecting the changes within us. As we witness the shifts in nature, the storms, the peace, the beauty, we are reminded that everything is connected. We are not separate from the world. We are part of it, and the signs are there to guide us, to awaken us to a deeper truth. And so, we must listen. We must pay attention to the signs. We must trust in the process and embrace the changes, both in the world and in ourselves. For it is in these moments of reflection, of stillness, and of growth that the great convergence will take place, and we will come to understand the true purpose of our lives. In the ever-evolving landscape of our world, where every day brings about new technological advancements and societal shifts, there is a temptation to be swept away by the relentless tide of progress. We often find ourselves caught in the frenzy of the modern age, chasing after the latest gadgets, the most cutting-edge innovations, and the ever-expanding wealth of information at our fingertips. Yet, in this constant pursuit of what is new and flashy, we sometimes forget the ancient wisdom that has been handed down through the generations. We forget the lessons of the past, the teachings that have stood the test of time, offering us guidance and clarity in a world that can often feel confusing and overwhelming. There is something profound and timeless about the wisdom found in the pages of the Ethiopian Bible, a wisdom that continues to resonate with us even today, offering us insight into how to live balanced, purposeful lives in an age where the world seems to be changing faster than we can keep up. One of the first lessons we encounter in the Ethiopian Bible is the call to maintain a balance between the new knowledge we acquire and the wisdom of the past. It is easy to become so enthralled with the modern world that we forget the teachings of those who came before us. We look at technology and innovation as the ultimate solutions to our problems, believing that the answers to life's deepest questions can be found in the latest breakthroughs. But the Ethiopian Bible reminds us that true wisdom is not found solely in the new and the cutting edge. It also resides in the timeless truths that have been passed down to us through the ages. In fact, It is when we look back and reflect on the lessons of the past that we are able to gain a deeper understanding of our present and find direction for our future. The Ethiopian Bible invites us to seek the old paths, to walk in the footsteps of those who have walked before us. In an age where everything seems to be moving forward at a breakneck pace, it can be hard to slow down and remember that the wisdom of the past is just as important as the knowledge of the present. Yet when we take the time to pause, to reflect, and to seek out the wisdom that has been passed down through generations, we can gain a deeper understanding of the world around us and the way we are meant to live in it. Another powerful message from the Ethiopian Bible is the call to seek truth in the depths of our hearts. We live in an age where misinformation and half-truths are rampant. The constant flow of information, much of it misleading or false, can leave us feeling disoriented and unsure of what to believe. Everywhere we turn, there are conflicting messages, agendas, and narratives, all vying for our attention. It can be difficult to know where to turn or who to trust. In the face of such confusion, the Ethiopian Bible urges us to turn inward, to seek truth in the deepest parts of our hearts. It reminds us that the wisdom we seek is not always found in the external world, but within ourselves. The Bible teaches that our hearts are the place where we find clarity, where our intuition and inner wisdom guide us toward the truth. It calls us to trust in the deeper knowing that resides within us, to listen to the quiet voice of the Spirit that speaks to our souls, and to allow that voice to lead us toward the path of truth. In a world filled with noise and distractions, it is easy to forget the power of our own intuition, but the Ethiopian Bible calls us to remember that the truth is often already within us, waiting to be discovered. The next lesson from the Ethiopian Bible is a reminder not to let technology rob us of our humanity. In the modern world, technology and artificial intelligence are increasingly becoming a dominant force in our lives. From the way we work to the way we communicate, technology is weaving itself into every aspect of our existence. While these advancements have brought about many positive changes, there is a danger that they could distance us from the essence of what it means to be human. We may become so absorbed in the digital world, so reliant on machines and devices, that we forget the importance of human connection and the value of face-to-face interaction. The Ethiopian Bible reminds us that, no matter how advanced technology becomes, we must never lose sight of our humanity. It calls us to nurture relationships, to prioritize the connections we share with others, and to remember that the true joy of life comes from the love and companionship we experience with the people around us. The Bible teaches us that we were created for fellowship, and it is through our relationships with others that we find meaning and fulfillment. As technology continues to advance, we must ensure that it does not replace the deeply human experiences that make life rich and rewarding. Another profound lesson from the Ethiopian Bible is the recognition that every change, every shift in the world, serves a greater purpose. Life is constantly in motion, and we are often faced with moments of uncertainty, confusion, and change. We may find ourselves in times of difficulty or transition, wondering why things are happening the way they are. It is easy to become disheartened, to lose faith, and to question the meaning behind the events unfolding in our lives. But the Ethiopian Bible reminds us that all change, no matter how challenging it may seem, is part of a grand design. It teaches us that the changes we experience, both personally and in the world around us, are not random or without purpose. In the Book of Ecclesiastes, it is written, "To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven." This simple yet profound verse speaks to the truth that every phase of life, every shift, every season, has its own purpose, even when we cannot fully understand it. The Ethiopian Bible encourages us to trust in the process of life, to have faith that each change we experience is leading us towards something greater. It reminds us that even in the midst of difficulty or uncertainty, there is a divine purpose at work. We may not always see it, but we are part of a larger story that is unfolding according to a divine plan. Finally, the Ethiopian Bible teaches us the importance of living with intentionality and purpose. In a world where distractions are plentiful and the demands of modern life can pull us in 1,000 different directions, it is easy to lose sight of what truly matters. We may find ourselves caught up in the busyness of life, chasing after things that ultimately do not bring us true fulfillment. The Ethiopian Bible calls us to live with intentionality, to focus on the things that truly matter, and to align our lives with the greater purpose that God has for us. It teaches us that in order to live a meaningful life, we must first seek clarity on what our true purpose is, and then take deliberate steps to live in accordance with that purpose. It is through this intentional living that we find true fulfillment and peace. In the modern world, where distractions are ever present, it can be difficult to stay focused on our true purpose. But the teachings of the Ethiopian Bible remind us that when we align our lives with divine purpose, we will find the joy and fulfillment that we seek. As we navigate the complexities of life in the modern age, it is easy to become overwhelmed by the constant change, the rapid advancements, and the overwhelming amount of information at our disposal. Yet, in the midst of all this, the wisdom of the Ethiopian Bible continues to offer us timeless guidance. It calls us to seek a balance between the new and the old, to trust in the wisdom of the past while embracing the possibilities of the future. It urges us to seek truth within ourselves, to value our relationships with others, and to live with intentionality and purpose. It reminds us that, even in times of uncertainty and change, there is a greater purpose at work in our lives, and we can trust in the process of life as we walk along the path that has been set before us. As we wrap up this journey through the hidden revelations of the Ethiopian Bible, it's impossible to ignore the profound implications these ancient texts hold for our modern world. Far from being merely a collection of outdated prophecies, the Ethiopian Bible holds a message that speaks directly to the challenges of our time, offering not only a glimpse into the future but also a path forward for humanity. We've explored the signs of Judgment Day, but these signs are not a harbinger of the end. Instead, they serve as markers for the beginning of a new era, one that calls for balance, understanding, and transformation. The wisdom of the ancients, preserved through millennia, offers us more than a warning. It provides guidance, a blueprint for navigating the shifting tides of time. As we've seen throughout this exploration, the Ethiopian Bible reveals that we are not merely spectators to the unfolding of apocalyptic events, but active participants in shaping the future. The three key signs we've uncovered, the upheavals in nature, the transformation of human consciousness, and the Great Convergence, are not isolated occurrences. They are intricately woven together, each one influencing and amplifying the others. These signs speak to us not only in the language of celestial phenomena, environmental changes, and social turmoil, but also in the language of human evolution. What the Ethiopian Bible predicts is not just the collapse of civilization, but the opportunity for humanity to evolve into something higher, more aware, and more connected to the deeper truths of existence. The challenges we face today, the rapid acceleration of technology, the fragmentation of truth, and the shifting dynamics of power, are not new. The ancient authors of the Ethiopian Bible foresaw these very issues and left us with profound lessons on how to confront them. In an age where artificial intelligence and digital technology are reshaping our lives, the Ethiopian Bible urges us to remember the wisdom of the past and find a way to reconcile the old and the new. It's not about rejecting progress, but understanding that true advancement lies not only in technological innovation, but in the cultivation of wisdom, compassion, and spiritual awareness. The Bible's messages are clear. As we venture into this new era, we must ground ourselves in the ancient truths that have withstood the test of time. The idea of a great reversal, where hidden truths are revealed and once obvious realities become shrouded in mystery, seems especially relevant today. We live in an age where information is abundant, yet understanding remains scarce. The rise of fake news, misinformation, and the blurring of reality and illusion are symptoms of the very prophecy described in the Ethiopian Bible. But with this revelation comes a responsibility, one that urges us to seek truth, not just through the lens of technology, but through the depths of our hearts. The Ethiopian Bible calls us to awaken, to reconnect with the sacred wisdom that resides within each of us. It urges us to look beyond the surface, to question what we've been told, and to discover for ourselves the deeper truths of the universe. However, the most profound message from the Ethiopian Bible is the call for balance. In an era of unprecedented technological growth, where humanity stands on the brink of unlocking powers that were once considered divine, we are reminded that technology must not overshadow the soul. The Ethiopian Bible teaches us that true power comes not from mastering the external world, but from mastering ourselves. It challenges us to hold on to our humanity, to nurture our connections with one another, and to seek wisdom from the sources that have guided generations before us. In a time when the boundaries between the real and the virtual are becoming increasingly blurred, the Bible calls us to remember what is truly important: the preservation of our inner selves and our connection to the divine. As we witness the rapid changes in our world, from environmental upheavals to the rapid advancement of artificial intelligence, we must ask ourselves, are we ready for the challenges that lie ahead? The Ethiopian Bible offers us the tools to prepare, not with fear, but with a sense of purpose and understanding. The signs of Judgment Day are not a call to despair. They are a call to action, to evolve, and to awaken to the potential within each of us. We must navigate this new world with wisdom, with compassion, and with a deep awareness of the sacred nature of life. It's not just about surviving the coming changes, it's about thriving in them, evolving into a higher state of consciousness and guiding humanity into a new age of enlightenment. In closing, the Ethiopian Bible is not just an ancient text, it is a living, breathing guide that speaks to the present moment and offers hope for the future. Its message is timeless, transcending the boundaries of time and space to provide us with the wisdom we need to navigate the complexities of the modern world. The signs of Judgment Day are not something to fear. They are markers of a new beginning, a new cycle of existence. It is up to us to heed the call, to find the balance between progress and tradition, between technology and wisdom, and to embrace the future with open hearts and minds. The age of enlightenment is not a distant dream. It is already unfolding, and we are part of it. The question is, will we rise to the challenge? Will we embrace the wisdom of the past and the potential of the future to create a world that is not only technologically advanced, but also spiritually awakened? The choice is ours, and the Ethiopian Bible offers us the map. The journey is just beginning,